Hello my friends, this is Jennifer and I welcome you to my channel, Searching and Growing. Today I wanted to talk about something that is penetrating our church, is infiltrating it almost completely unnoticed. And that is a subject of false teachers. There are a lot of false teachers out there and most people are unaware of them. Of course, when a Christian thinks of a false teacher, Mormons, JWs, those people come to our minds because we know exactly what they believe. We know what they think about the true Jesus of the Bible. And while they are dangerous, they are not as dangerous as the people that call themselves Bible teachers but are actually false teachers that are in our camp. People that we trust, that we assume because of who they are, that they're going to teach us correctly. Unfortunately, we cannot assume those things anymore, and that's why they are more dangerous. And I will say a new Christian should never try to engage in some kind of a debate with a JW or a Mormon, because it will get them mixed up and confused very quickly. But my point is, we've got to look past those cults and look into our own groups. Look into what teachers we are promoting. Because do they really believe the Bible? Or are they just saying stuff that people want to hear? So how do we know if someone is a false teacher? 1 John chapter 4 says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Hereby know ye the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesseth that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is of God. And every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come. And even now already is it in the world." And this, of course, is where we go to. This is the passage. And this is where people stop, unfortunately. This is not where the Bible stops in explaining a false teacher. But unfortunately, that's where most people go. That's where they stop when they try to figure out if someone is a false teacher. But John continues. He says, "Ye are of God, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world. Therefore speak they of the world, and the world heareth them. We are of God. He that knoweth God heareth us. He that is not of God heareth not us. Hereby know we the spirit of truth and the spirit of error." So in other words, if there could be a preacher who claims to believe in Jesus, but then next thing you know, Oprah is promoting him and thinks he's wonderful, that preacher has a spirit of error. No matter what he says, it doesn't matter, because he obviously is saying enough of heresy for someone like Oprah to love him that it completely negates what he supposedly believes about Jesus. It doesn't really even matter anymore what he believes, what he says he believes, I should say. So that's a huge point. If there is a preacher or a women's speaker that Oprah loves, and I keep using her because she's the one that promotes a lot of these people, then that is someone that we need to stay away from. Deuteronomy 13 also tells us. It gives us something to go by to know if someone is a false teacher. And this is what God is telling the Israelites, what they need to be aware of when they go to the promised land. Deuteronomy 13, verse 1. "If there arise among you a prophet, or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto thee, saying, Let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of the prophet, or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God proveth you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul." In other words, if someone gets up and says all the right things, and in this case they were prophesying, and their prophecies came to pass. So, oh yeah, they're saying the right things. We can just do whatever else they tell us to do. That is not what God said. He said it doesn't matter. If they tell you to do things that are against the Word of God, like contemplative prayer, like learning about spiritual formation, they are not of God. They are a false prophet. And I inserted those two things because those are huge in the Christian world today. And that's not exactly what this says here, but the principle applies. We have to be aware what these people believe and what they are pushing. More than just a little few words of what they believe in Jesus. It's so much more than that. And Jesus talked about this as well. In Matthew 7, verse 15, he said, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Ye shall know them by their fruits." Then he goes on to explain that a corrupt tree will not produce good fruit, and a good tree will not produce corrupt fruit. But every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire, whereof by their fruits ye shall know them. He didn't say by their words. He said by their fruits. So they could say all the right things. But if their actions, their example, is taking you down a path that is against the Word of God, they are a false teacher. And it is extremely important that we be vigilant about it. I do know of an author who, she wrote this book that talked about false teachers. And the book seems very doctrinally sound. But when you look at her blog, look at who she promotes, look at who promotes her, there's a real problem. She says that Beth Moore has influenced her more than any other teacher has. That should say a lot right there. And I don't have the time right now to get into what Beth Moore teaches, but that is a big problem. And she also promotes this Bible teacher who says, excuse me, that if she had a couple of gay friends that were to get married, she and her husband would love to go to their wedding. It would be wonderful. That person is a false teacher. And unfortunately, the author of the book that I was reading promotes her. It is very dangerous. This woman is on her way to being a false teacher, if she is not one already. It is very dangerous. We cannot afford anymore to just look at a book judge a book by its cover. We can't do it anymore. It will be like your pastor getting up at church and talking about false teachers and how to discern who they are, and it's wonderful. The teaching is wonderful. But then the next Sunday have Joel Osteen in his pulpit. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. So why would we read after people who promote false teachers? It doesn't make any sense. And in Jude chapter 1, he talks also about deceivers entered into the world who confess not that Jesus is come in the flesh. This is verse 7. This is a deceiver and an antichrist. Look to yourselves that we lose not those things which we have wrought, but that we receive a full reward. Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Christ hath not God. And another passage, he talks about, actually, let me look at a different passage here. Verse 4, he talks about certain men that are crept in unaware, people we're not aware of. They blend in like sheep, would blend in with other sheep. These men were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness. What is lasciviousness? It is a license to do whatever you want to do. So yeah, you can be a homosexual, you can be gay and be a Christian, or you can be a liar and be a Christian. You can do whatever you want, as long as you believe in Jesus. That is not what the Bible teaches, and it is extremely dangerous. So I would just say, be vigilant about what you read. And if you are the person in charge of your church bookstore, or if you have an online bookstore, or whatever the case, do not assume for 1 second that you can just put in a book because it looks good, or it sounds good, or someone gave it to you. You need to look below the surface. Look at their blog. See who they promote. See who promotes them. Are they into contemplative prayer or spiritual formation? It's very important to know this. We cannot afford anymore to just take it for granted that what we're reading is in alliance with the Word of God. So I just wanted to put that out there, just to give you something to chew on, something to go by. So if you enjoyed this video and if it helped you at all, please give it a thumbs up. Please share it with your friends. Subscribe to my channel because I will be videoing some more information about different teachers that we need to be aware of. But in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless you.